Well, happy holidays, everybody. Happy almost New Year. I want to take a minute or two, maybe 7, 10. I don't know where this is exactly going to go, but just to answer some questions that I'm getting every single day. A market update of sorts for the current market, but also for 2023. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. This is very much a crystal ball predictions from the big guy. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't have the exact answers to every scenario, but assuming the market and the world kind of stays at bay for the next 6 to 12 months, that's a big if, then I think I have some likely scenarios that I think will play out in how I am currently guiding my buyers and sellers and investors. So here we go. So I want to break this down a little bit between buyers and sellers. So let's start on the buying side, okay? And assuming you don't need to sell a house, let's just keep it simple. You're a buyer. Your choices right now are what? To buy, to rent, to live at home, to be homeless, right? Those are your options. So assuming you're gonna buy a house, I do think this winter is probably the biggest lull we will see in the market since the last 5 years. And probably assuming the spring market, which I'll get into, being a good market, an even market, I think now is a really good time to buy, especially for first-time home buyers. Buyer demand is down. It's at like 10% of what we saw in April of last year. In April of last year, a couple stats, things were selling on average for $21,000 plus over asking and waiving contingencies and all the chaos that everybody heard about. Now fast forward to December of 2022, we're actually seeing things selling for under asking price. So $7,300 roughly on average in Grand Rapids, homes are selling under asking. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, it is a good time to buy, assuming you can afford the monthly payments and assuming you really are in the market for a house. As we shift from, the early winter into late winter, early spring, it seems like the spring market starts in like February now instead of like April. But let's say as we shift into that early spring market, I am sensing that the market's going to uptick. There's a backlog of sellers out there, so I think inventory is going to come up. But I also think buyers after the new year naturally come out of the woodwork. We're seeing interest rates right now hovering somewhere between like 6.5% and 7%, right? That is drastically higher than the 3% we were seeing or even sub 3s. The national average is 4% for people that have mortgages in the US right now. So yes, it is drastically higher. In relativity though, that is not very high. This is actually a very good thing long term that interest rates are a little bit higher. Cheap money weakens the economy. And I'm not going to go all into that, but just know 6% are probably here to stay for the foreseeable next 6, 12, 18 months. In, theory is they might tick down into the 4.5, 5, 5.5s. And that'll be, a time when I believe the market will ramp back up and some of that chaos will come back. So assuming you can afford 6.5 to 7%, depending on your down payment, and depending on your credit score and all those things, now is a really good time to buy. Inventory is pretty low, so you have to wait for that right house. Don't just jump on any house you like, wait for the house you love. But if you find one you love, buy it. Okay, so let's move on from the buyer side. Let's go to sellers, right? You have a house you want to sell. Maybe you have thought about it the last 6 months, maybe over the holidays, it's time to really consider putting that house on the market. Is now the time to sell? Is the spring the time to sell? That's a question I'm getting every single day with my clients right now. So here's my prediction. I do still think it is slightly more of a seller's market than a buyer's market right now, today, in late December. I think that might continue as inventory stays low, but I do think things are evening out. So if you want leverage as a seller, right now is a good time to consider. I know it's kind of a weird time just after the holidays, there's snow on the ground, all of that. But when we're looking at inventory, let's start there for you, your competition. In Forest Hills right now, we have 70 homes on the market out of 12,000 plus homes. That is crazy low. So your competition is abysmal. There's nothing else out there. So the buyers are still in the market, albeit in fewer amounts, but so are listings. So I do think right now is a good time to list. The question being, is spring going to be better? I think there'll be more inventory, more competition, but there'll also be more buyers. So I do think the spring is going to even out the market that way. In East Grand Rapids right now, we have 15 homes on the market, and only 4 of them are under $700,000. Like, that's wildly crazy, right? Affordable housing is hard to find right now in East Grand Rapids. So if you're a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 seller, I think it's a great time to get it on the market, and I do think you will find a buyer very quickly. Through what has been kind of a slower market in Q4 of 2022 overall, I think what we have been blessed with, and at least in our office, is still pricing that has more or less stayed in the realm of where it was. So we are more than ever setting expectations with our sellers. Gone are the days that things are selling for $50,000. I mean, we sold a home for $200,000 over asking in the height of the market last year. So what we are telling our sellers is more than ever, pricing is key. Obviously, we want to get your house ready. I have currently a painter and a cleaner at a house as we speak, getting it prepped, because I want to make sure that product is as good as possible for the market. Gone are those days where you can just put any crappy house on the market and it'll sell for over asking. So we want to make it as good as possible. And then on top of that, we need to price it correctly. So we are still pricing things in the realm of where we were 6 months ago, with the caveat that if that house would have been priced at $495 6 months ago, we're not going to get $550 most likely. We're going to still price it somewhere between $475 and $500, but we're probably going to get closer to asking. For really good products, we will get over asking occasionally still in this market. For, inferior products or, mediocre products, we are seeing it going around list price, if not slightly under. So, and things are selling anywhere between 1 and 30 days, I would say, on average right now. So again, gone are the 12 offers the first day, unless you're severely underpricing it. So if you're pricing things accurately, expect to sell within 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, something like that. Okay, so in summary, I know I threw a lot at you. I think currently right now is a really good time to buy if that perfect house is out there for you, because I think pricing is in a little lull right now. My prediction for spring of 2023, and I'm going on a limb here, is that we're actually going to see a really healthy market between buyers and sellers. I think interest rates are going to stay at bay. Buyers are going to get used to the new interest rates. It's the new norm. People get used to change eventually. And I do think inventory will tick up. And so I think we're going to see more of a healthy market. And I do think Grand Rapids will hold its pricing pretty well. Some might decrease, might soften, but overall, I think we're going to see a strong market here in spring of 23. So, as always, I would love your feedback. If you have questions, you know where to find me. I'm just outside East Grand Rapids in Easttown. My office is on Lake Drive. I have the best staff in the world. We're the best team in GR, and we would love to hear from you.